Welcome back to TVB News. The holiday season is right around the corner, but revelers may feel a bit disappointed because a number of festive events may not be held this year. Evelyn Lowe reports.
Christmas in Hong Kong may not be the same this year. Several major countdown events around town may not be held. The Food and Environmental Hygiene Department said it had received an application to hold a countdown event outside Times Square in Causeway Bay on New Year's Eve. But the applicant has now withdrawn the application. Times Square refused to say whether its annual countdown event has been cancelled. As for another popular countdown spot at Canton Road in Tsim Sha Tsui, no applications were received for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and the deadline for application has passed. However, the Tourism Board will continue to hold a countdown event and a fireworks display on New Year's Eve. Meanwhile, the Immigration Department expects the number of arrivals and departures to hit 13.59 million during the Christmas and New Year holidays. This will be a 9.8% increase from last year. This Saturday is expected to be the peak period for travelers leaving Hong Kong via the border checkpoints, while December 27th will be the peak period for those entering. Evelyn Line, TVB News.
The Office of the Ombudsman will be reviewing the way leaking or burst private water pipes are repaired. The investigation follows complaints that the government repair mechanism has resulted in fresh water being wasted. Stephanie Choi has more.
The watchdog has received complaints about delays in the handling of leaking or burst private water pipes. This, the Ombudsman says, has resulted in fresh water wasted over extended periods of time. According to the Waterworks Ordinance, the Water Supplies Department should ask owners of faulty pipes to fix any reported leakage within a specified period, or the department would consider cutting off water supply. Preliminary findings by the Ombudsman showed the department would take into consideration whether the leakage affected people's lives and property, as well as the structural safety of the buildings involved. But since the wastage of fresh water isn't an important factor for consideration, the watchdog said it seems the department doesn't have any criteria or method to estimate the amount of fresh water wasted. The Ombudsman said information provided by the Water Supplies Department showed that between 2009 and 2013, about half of the almost 5,000 private water pipe leaks repairs took more than 2 months to complete. It added it was almost impossible to gauge the amount of fresh water lost. The Ombudsman will look into the procedures and efficiency of the department in following up on the complaints and how the department assesses the urgency of repairs. That includes whether the amount of fresh water wasted is taken into account. The Ombudsman will also investigate how the department exercises its statutory power in urging owners of faulty pipes to take responsibility for the repairs. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
There were emotional moments in the funeral of a senior firefighter killed in a gas explosion at a flat in Shep Kik Mei estate last month. Principal fireman Leung Kwok Kei died on the 4th of this month from the injuries he'd sustained in the blast. He was 49. His funeral was held today at the Universal Funeral Parlour in Hong Kong. Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam and Secretary for Justice Rimsky Yoon were among the government officials attending the ceremony. The funeral procession then proceeded to the scene of the tragedy and the Mong Kok fire station where Leung had served. He was buried at Gallant Garden, the final resting place for government staff who were killed in the line of duty.
A movie meant to be a comedy about the assassination of North Korea's leader was supposed to be one of Hollywood's biggest releases this holiday season. But Sony Pictures just canceled its Christmas Day launch over threats that North Korea would launch attacks should it open.
The CIA would love it if you two could take him out.
Like for drinks?
No. Take him out.
Take out? Like to dinner?
Take him out to a meal?
What was meant to be a funny Hollywood movie is no longer a laughing matter. A comedy titled The Interview is about two journalists recruited by the CIA to assassinate North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. But with the North being extremely sensitive to portrayals of its dictator, the thought of killing him off enraged a group of hackers called the Guardians of Peace. They began what